It started like a bizarre headline: three children dragging a wealthy stranger into their small, broken home. But behind this shocking act lay years of pain, loneliness, and the silent weight of a mother abandoned by society's cruel hand. These triplets weren't criminals. They were desperate souls searching for the father they never had. The man they chose wasn't just anyone. He was a billionaire, trapped in a world of privilege, now forced into their reality. What unfolded that night would expose more than family secrets. It would uncover the deep scars of racism itself. Watch until the end. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Their mother, Mariah, had raised the triplets, Eli, Noah, and Grace, on her own. A black woman working double shifts at a diner, she carried the quiet strength of someone who had fought against rejection her whole life. Their father had disappeared before they were even born, leaving behind only shame and questions whispered in hushed tones. In their neighborhood, poverty wasn't just about empty pockets. It was about constant judgment. This kind came with the color of their skin. As Father's Day approached, the absence felt heavier than ever. Other kids were planning cards and gifts, while the triplets carried only silence. They saw their mother cry in the kitchen late at night, clutching old photos, pretending she was fine. To them, the world had stolen something they never had: a father figure. That's when they made a plan. A dangerous, unthinkable plan that would change everything. The triplets spotted him one afternoon, stepping out of a sleek black car near their block. His suit was crisp, his shoes polished, and his watch glittered like sunlight on water. They didn't know his name at first, only that he looked powerful, untouchable. He was everything their world had denied them. Whispers spread through the neighborhood. He was Victor Hale, a billionaire investor with properties across the city. To most, he was just another wealthy man who never looked down on the people struggling below. But to the triplets, he became something else entirely: an answer. They followed him, studying his movements, waiting for the moment. When it came, it wasn't elegant. Eli distracted him, Noah pushed from behind, and Grace whispered with trembling hands, "Run!" Dragging him through alleyways, they pulled him into their small, dimly lit home. Victor was furious, confused, but in their mother's weary eyes, something shifted. Mariah froze at the sight. Her children with a man they swore was meant to be their father. She wanted to scream, but the triplets' voices broke through. "He needs to know us. He needs to see you." Victor's presence in that crumbling home was more than an intrusion. It was a collision of two worlds, and as the hours passed, layers of prejudice, pain, and buried history began to unravel. He wasn't just any man. His life, his choices, and his privilege were about to be tested in ways he had never imagined. The truth hit like a thunderclap. Victor wasn't just a stranger. He had known Mariah years ago. Back when she worked at a corporate event, he had dismissed her, humiliated her, and ignored her humanity because of her race. She had carried that wound silently, even as life pushed her into single motherhood. Now, standing in her small kitchen, Victor saw what his indifference had cost. The triplets looked at him with a mix of hope, anger, and desperation. He realized they weren't asking for gifts or wealth. They were demanding recognition, dignity, and the father figure society had stripped away. In that moment, the billionaire who had built empires with money stood powerless against the truth of three children who only wanted to know, why weren't we enough? Victor left that night, but not unchanged. He walked back into his glittering world of wealth, carrying the weight of faces he couldn't forget. The triplets' desperate act wasn't about kidnapping. It was a plea to break cycles of abandonment and prejudice. Mariah, though shaken, held her children tighter, realizing that their worth had never depended on a man, but on their own resilience. Yet the encounter left scars and questions. How many more families would be broken, not by absence, but by a world where race dictated whose lives mattered. The story of that Father's Day wasn't about a billionaire or triplets. It was about a society that forces children to go to extremes just to be seen. And now, I ask you, which country and city are you watching from? Take care.